Right then, with Erik Ten Hag's job, I think in question is like the most I can minimise this is there's rife speculation. It's even come out today that Ajax consider him as their number one target for next season. If that's not telling, I don't know what is. You got Peter Schmeichel being coy, could be because he's an ambassador, but could because he knows something. When he was asked about Thomas Tuchel and Manchester United, and United are having our statistically worst Premier League season ever. Managers appear to be starting to get earmarked with the United job. One of those is Thomas Tuchel, out of work come the summer at Bayern Munich, where he could still win the Champions League and be out on his ear because they'd already made that decision. Finds himself in a mad situation. I mean, if you had to look at someone who's been sacked so fast after winning Champions Leagues, I'm not sure if that sets a good precedent, but whatever. Anyway, let's have a look into it, because United's strike rate on managers since Sir Alex has been, I want to say underwhelming, but I also, in my head, I'm going, it's not underwhelming, it's actually horrific. And the jeopardy behind each appointment is beginning to grow as the fans and the club become more and more desperate. Tuchel, I think he's a great manager in his own right, probably poorly treated at Chelsea because a new owner came in and new owners want shiny things. But you can't help wonder whether the United job has become maybe a little bit of a poison chalice. And are we seeing managers fired because of incompetencies around them rather than incompetencies of the manager? Every single person that's left Manchester United, from players to managers, just goes, you won't believe how bad it is. And I think we have to believe them. Genuinely think we have to believe them. And I think some of the decisions that have been taken in the last decade, they just don't stack up well at all. Now, Tuchel does have a few concerns to consider. I don't think it would necessarily be a definite immediate upgrade on Erik Ten Hag. I think there's some stuff that he's shown promise in, and there's some stuff that he would be probably an upgrade on Ten Hag. But I don't think it's universal. I don't think it's across the board. So, as we always do, let's have a look at the worry with Thomas Tuchel.
Teach Hanley simplifies taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the necessary products and none of the unnecessary extras. Listen, as a goddamn manly man, skincare isn't something that I am thinking of all the time. But Teach Hanley have actually made it real simple for you. They've got some instructions and you just do what they say. The Level 1 system comes with all the basics that you need. You're going to have a daily face wash that's gets rid of all the dirt and grime from the day. You've got to have a bi-weekly exfoliant, which is going to get rid of all the dead skin cells that are hanging around on your face. And then you're going to have an AM moisturiser and a PM moisturiser. When you get yourself ready to go out on the hills in the morning, you've got to bang on the AM moisturiser. And in that, you've got an SPF 20 that's going to protect your skin against the sun. Once you get back at night, your face is taking a battering from the wind and the weather. This wind is only 45 miles an hour. And it's all dry and cracked. You bang on the PM moisturiser, and that's going to look after your skin and hydrate you right throughout the night. And if you're sitting there going, I didn't write this down, Steve, what are you on about? Look, they give you an instruction card that's going to talk you through it. It's very, very simple. And don't just take my word for it. They have got over 7,000 five-star reviews from customers around the world, so you know that this is a company and a product that you can trust. Get yourself an amazing deal from Teach Hanley. You can get 30% off and get a free gift by clicking the link in the description below. Don't wait, start your skincare routine with Teach Hanley today. To the bit.
Adversity struggles, and one of Tuchel's negatives, I believe, is the adversity struggles and the difficulty in dealing with adversity or team struggles. He feels like a bit of a momentum manager, and that's maybe a good thing. But once things do start to slide for him, he hasn't actually shown the ability to be able to steady a rocking boat. He can absolutely get some momentum behind a team and have it going well, but once it does start to slump, all we've seen is the wheels come off when that's happened. Now, he does tend to find it difficult when he's trying to get a team out of a slump. That means there's questions over tactical diversity, maybe tactical acuteness, maybe managerial or man management issues. The stubbornness in style can sometimes be seen as a positive in a manager. You don't want a manager that just goes with a new shiny formation every single week. You do need managers to back themselves and believe in that, but sometimes that can go beyond that and become stubbornness. his tactical flexibility flexible enough? Is it something that you can question? Is he capable of fitting together game plans with what he's got, or does he need it all entirely built in his way? He has put game plans together in big games. He's managed to win Champions League finals. I think there's half a chance he wins another one, but there is still a bit of a flaw there. Conflicts. He hasn't exactly been dynastic at the clubs that he's managed at. He seems to have this perfectionist sort of trait or appearance, an ambition. I don't know the word I'm looking for here, but he does seem to have an inability to align with the vision of the club that he's working for, where it's become a problem. It's literally, this is how Tuchel plays football, or Tuchel's getting on his bike. He does have a track record of fighting with owners and falling out with players. The Dortmund CEO, Watzke, recently described him as a very difficult person. He supposedly expressed his discontent over the transfer activity that Watzke was sanctioning. The likes of Hummels and Gundogan and Mkhitaryan going despite guarantees that they would not leave. Now, I think that one could fall on the side of he was right to be difficult. You've just got rid of 3 key core players, one in defence, one in midfield, one in attack. You've literally just ripped the spine out of his team, and do you think he's going to fucking high-five you? So I would expect any manager worth that. So can you imagine doing that to Fergie? And a good team, a team that's actually winning things, we're just going to take out your entire core. What am I getting for it? And do what Dortmund always do, try and find a couple of rough diamonds. Come on, man. At PSG, Tuchel said he felt more like a politician in sport than a coach. And these were comments that came as previous criticism over the club's transfer activity were condemned by Leonardo, the sporting director at PSG, where he said Tuchel must respect the people above him, and labelled the comments as damaging for the club. Tuchel and Leonardo supposedly fell out over the signing of Danilo Pereira, with the coach requesting a central defender, and in response, Tuchel often fielded Pereira as a central defender. Again, I'm not 100% sure that's as much of a negative. I mean, you're talking about a shit situation to be in at Dortmund where they have to sell off their best players, and they've just sold out 3 of your best players. And then at PSG, where player power is absolutely rampant, you're already, on paper, you're expected to win everything. The reality is you've got a lot of bells at the club that are going to make it really hard to win everything. So if you're asking for a central defender and you get a central midfielder, I almost don't know for sure if he's in the wrong with these. And going to PSG, it's fucking hard work because the expectation is win everything. And the reality is a little bit more difficult with that, especially when you've got the player power involved, which you have at PSG. Now, according to The Athletic, Tuchel was supposedly dissatisfied over the increased involvement in the transfer activity because of the likes of the directors that they got rid of. I think technical advisor Peter Cech and Marina Gravasokia, apologies, with whom he worked quite well with identifying talent at Chelsea. Now, what's happened at Chelsea since? I think he was onto something, to be honest. And supposedly people close to Tuchel said that he disagreed with the strategy and the club's targets, as well as not being involved in the signing of Zakaria and personally expressing interest in going for the likes of Rafinha, Frankie de Jong, Matthias de Ligt, and Kimpembe as well. So, good players, depending on where they are at the time in their contracts, the value of those players could be anything, I think it would be fair to say. I think if he's going to work at United, he's going to have a way of working with a good department. I don't think you can allow the manager the total control in signing the players, but I don't think you can allow the manager no control in signing the players. I definitely do think it has to be a collaborative effort. I definitely think that's the way to do it. And I think if the financial side of the board sanction a player at a certain price and he's not available at that price, then you have to look elsewhere. Because you have to be able, certainly United retooling at the moment is going to require probably 7 or 8 positions. You can't spend £100 million per position. So you're going to have to cut your cloth accordingly. Now, supposedly he was inconsistent regarding transfers, expressing both reluctance and support towards possible moves for Gabriel Jesus, Edson Alvarez, Romeo Lavia, and Cristiano Ronaldo. And I think that latter one was one of the reasons why he might have ended up getting the bullet. I think also with Tuchel, as you said, he hasn't been dynastic anywhere. And how much of that is his fault, I think, is the big question mark that United are going to have to sort of overcome. There's a lot of short-termism in his managerial career. He tends to be moved on or move on after 2 seasons on average. The philosophy that he tries to impart, it's a very strong style of play. Quite a few of our current squad don't have the technical ability to be able to play what he wants to play. They haven't got the technical ability to play what Ten Hag wants to play. You could argue Tuchel's might even be a level up from that. The overlap of past managers and players overlapping onto new managers is going to continue. You almost have to allow the total rebuilding of... This is why the identification of a manager is so important. If you identify a manager, you have to be able to see what that manager's creating. It's like building a sculpture, right? The sculpture is going to start off as an actual rock. And every time they pick up that hammer and chisel, they're going to take away a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. You can't, 20 minutes into them building this sculpture, go, still looks like a fucking rock. What's going on? They need time to be able to mold it to what their vision is. And you can't, what United have done over the past decade is we've had 5, 6, 7 different sculptures in, or sculptors in. And they're all trying to carve it out in their own way. And at the moment, it looks like a fucking rocky shit. Because we haven't actually given anybody the time to craft it, the time or the tools to craft it into an absolute sculpture. That's the problem that United have got at the moment. Now, you're gonna potentially bring in Thomas Tuchel, give him Ten Hag's tools, which might be left-handed or right-handed, and wonder why this team doesn't look right for him. So these reports linking Tuchel to United, do I put any credit to them or do I put any realism to them? I do. Could the marriage of Manchester United and Thomas Tuchel work? Does he sound and feel like an Ineos appointment? I think he does. He is adaptable. He is a good communicator. He is tactical astute. I think he ticks a lot of the boxes that Ineos would be looking for. His previous clashes with hierarchy have to give them pause. But I think, again, they have to be looked into. When you're judging Ten Hag this season, you have to judge him on the facts. Not the feelings, the facts. And the facts are the injuries have played a part. But the facts are we've also conceded the most shots in the league. And the facts are we've also got these glaring holes which anybody who understands football to any decent level is going to be able to say, okay, the injuries are one mitigation, but have we tried to shore this up at any point, or have we decided to embrace the chaos and just go for it? I think that's the sort of thing where Ten Hag's going to have to sit down with the management and almost explain his working. Okay, we can see, you've tried to do 50 plus 50 and you've come up with 81, right? Okay, so that was wrong, but can you explain the working to me? And if Ten Hag can explain the working and say, yeah, okay, so in this game, and this game, you'll see I tried to make it compact and it made us toothless going forward. So I just decided this was Operation Fuck It and we were going to just go for it. I think he has to be allowed that explanation. Now, I don't think that explanation's ever going to be public, but he has to be given the opportunity to state his case and explain what happened with the hierarchy that are coming in at Ineos, and see where it leads us. There's going to be a hell of a lot of managerial rotations this summer, a hell of a lot. Thomas Tuchel will be on the market. and he will be snapped up by a big club. Whether or not it's Manchester United does remain to be seen. But let me know your thoughts. If Thomas Tuchel was to come in and replace Erik Ten Hag in the summer, how would you feel about that? Cheers for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Laters. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.